Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled between snow-capped mountains, there lived a kind and radiant princess named Snow White. Her beauty was unparalleled. Her skin was as white as snow, her lips as red as blood, and her hair as black as ebony. Sadly, her mother, the queen, passed away when Snow White was just a baby, leaving her father, King Leopold, to raise her alone. Years later, the king married again, and oh how beautiful his new wife was. But don't be fooled by her looks, because she was as vain and jealous as they come. She possessed a magical mirror that she consulted daily, asking, "Mirror, mirror, on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" For many years the mirror answered, "You, my queen, are the fairest of them all." But as Snow White blossomed into a young woman, the mirror's response changed. "Snow White is the fairest of them all." Oh, how this consumed the wicked queen with envy. Every day she would glare at Snow White, wishing for her to vanish from existence. One day, she commanded a huntsman to take Snow White into the forest and end her life. The huntsman, a kind-hearted man, couldn't bear to harm the innocent princess. So when he led Snow White into the forest, he told her to run away and hide. And that's exactly what she did. Deep in the forest, Snow White stumbled upon a small cottage. To her surprise, it was the home of 7 dwarfs who worked in the nearby mines. They were kind and welcoming, and when they saw Snow White, they immediately invited her inside. "Come stay with us," they said, "and we'll protect you." Snow White agreed, and soon she became an integral part of their little family. She kept their house tidy, and in return, they shielded her from harm. Meanwhile, the wicked queen was furious that her plan to get rid of Snow White had failed. She retreated into her chamber, confronted her magical mirror, and demanded an explanation. The mirror revealed that Snow White was, in fact, the fairest of them all. Enraged, the queen vowed to eliminate Snow White once and for all. She left the castle, donned the disguise of an old peddler woman, and went to the dwarf's cottage. When Snow White opened the door, the queen tricked her by saying she had a gift for her. It was a beautifully laced corset. Snow White, unaware of the danger, put it on, but alas, it was a death trap. The corset tightened around her waist, stealing her breath and making her faint. The dwarfs, returning home, found Snow White lying on the floor without a pulse. Heartbroken, they carried her into the bedroom, laid her on a nearby bed, and began performing mouth-to-nose resuscitation. Just as the evil queen had hoped, Snow White's breathing became shallow and weak. But just when the queen thought she had won, Snow White opened her eyes. The dwarfs, overjoyed, gathered around her, and Snow White explained to them what had happened. Realizing that the danger was far from over, the dwarfs hid Snow White in a secret room within their cottage. But the wicked queen was relentless. Disguised as a peddler woman once more, she returned to the cottage and tricked Snow White with a comb. Once again, Snow White almost lost her life, but the dwarfs saved her. The queen, enraged by her failure, concocted one last plan. This time she disguised herself as a peddler woman for the 3rd and final time. She went to the cottage and tricked Snow White with a poisoned apple. Snow White took a bite and immediately collapsed as if she were dead. The dwarfs, horrified, placed Snow White's lifeless body in a glass coffin and carried it out of the woods. As they were walking through the forest, a handsome prince named Alistair came across them. Overwhelmed with grief, he leaned in and kissed Snow White. Miraculously she awoke, and the two were instantly smitten with each other. The dwarfs, overjoyed at the sight of Snow White, rushed to the castle to inform the king and the royal family about her miraculous recovery. News of Snow White's revival spread like wildfire, reaching even the wicked queen. Consumed with rage and shame, she was forced to attend Snow White and Prince Alistair's wedding. The sight of Snow White, the woman she had tried so hard to destroy, being celebrated as the bride was unbearable. In a fit of anger, the queen was forced to wear iron shoes heated in fire and dance until she fell down dead. Snow White and Prince Alistair ruled the kingdom with wisdom and compassion. They often visited their dear friends, the 7 dwarfs, and together they lived happily ever after.